Hello YouTube and welcome to Turmoil in the Toybox. I'm your host Aaron Hauser. Today we've got a very special review. This is the brand new Gremlin Series 2 set from NECA. From left to right, we've got the Phantom Gremlin, the Brown Gremlin, and Lenny. All of these feature a lot of new parts. They're all very articulated and really well done paint applications on all of these. That was kind of my biggest worry with the last series of Gremlins. They were very cool, but they had a lot of paint problems, so they definitely upped their game for this series, which is nice to see. So we'll start with the Brown Gremlin. In the middle, comes with a couple accessories. He comes with sunglasses and a cigarette or a cigar. Looks like a cigarette, I think. And this is just a little side note here. This is basically the exact same figure as the Flasher Gremlin from the first series, just a different paint application and no coat. So that's nice because a lot of people I know got the Flasher Gremlin and just removed the coat to just use that as a plain Gremlin, which is cool. I like that look, but it was nice that they were able to finally release one without all that extra stuff on it. So we'll set those little accessories aside. Pretty basic on this guy. He's got articulation at the ankles, at the knees. A little note there, getting this guy out of the package, I was very concerned about the knee joints breaking because the paint was almost completely glued together. Now you can solve that by putting the frozen joint in a little hot water, and that'll kind of loosen up either the paint or the glue or whatever had locked it into place there. But with a little work, this was able to kind of loosen up, so that worked. He's also got articulation in the upper hips there. It kind of rotates in and out on somewhat of a ball joint. No waist articulation. He's got wrist articulation, flexibility at the elbows, jointed at the shoulder as well, forward, backwards, in and out. And then, of course, on the head, it's on somewhat of a ball joint. It doesn't have a whole lot of up and down range to it. This one does probably more than the other three. No ear articulation. Some of the little Mogwai had that, but these guys don't. And then you can kind of look back and forth as well. Now, we'll kind of pop his head up here. As you can see, really well done. I was really worried about bleeding around the eyes and around the mouth, but they did a very good job with this. I might have just gotten a nice set, which would be a nice reprieve from the last couple sets of NECA figures I've got that were completely messed up paint-wise. But these ones look fantastic, and I'm just really wowed with the amount of detail on them. So there's kind of a look at the face and everything there. As you can see, there's a little paint bleeding there, but it's nothing huge. So that is the Brown Gremlin. See, his head only goes down about that far, so they all have this sort of looking up sort of positioning to them. So it's whatever. But that is the Brown Gremlin. Next we'll do Lenny. Now this is Lenny with the necktie on. You only see him like this in a couple scenes in Gremlins 2. The one I remember where he's wearing this, he and George were watching a horror movie, a black and white horror movie, and laughing at it on TV, and he was wearing this. And if I remember correctly, I think George was wearing a tie too. But it's a nice little addition. I believe if you remove the head from the ball joint, you could probably just take this off if you didn't want it. I think it adds a little more color to the figure, so I'll probably just leave it on personally. Same articulation on this guy. I'll give you kind of a 360 on him. A lot of really cool detail up and down the back, which matches the Mogwai pretty closely there, as far as color patterns and stuff. And then I'll give you a close-up of the face. actually kind of turn this over to the side here. The face looks pretty clean. The teeth are a little crooked, but nothing crazy. They kind of look that way on the original animatronic, so that's not horrible. Really nice detailing on the ears and on the spots and everything there. Really, really impressed with the amount of detailing on this. Another thing to note about these guys is that, like the last couple series, they do have the foot pegs on the base of the feet, so you can actually put these on display stands if you need them to. Kind of help stand them up a bit more. So, other than the tie, there aren't any other accessories with Lenny, which is okay. He doesn't really need any other ones. It would have been nice to have this guy in possibly, a chef's hat or an apron. I think he wears an apron in that scene. But either way, very, very cool figure. So I'll move him off to the side here. And I saved my favorite for last. This is the Phantom. He was also in a brief scene. He's in 2 different scenes, from what I remember. I watched Gremlins 2 a couple nights ago just to kind of spin up on some of these characters, just so I can remember what portions of the film they were in. But he's in the first or second lab scene, I want to say, where the Gremlins break loose, and one of the other Gremlins throws this thing of acid in his face and burns half of his face down, and then he ends up putting on the Phantom of the Opera mask. And then later in the film, there's a little Phantom of the Opera parody, and he's playing the organ and all that stuff. But comes with a little acid beaker, vial, cup thing. Do not throw on face. He took that the opposite direction, obviously. But I'm gonna pull this over here. Really, really nice detailing on this. The face does not look as plasticky as I thought it was going to. It's got a very nice sort of melted flesh look to it, and really, really good paint application on this one. It looks like it's kind of bleeding over on the lip there, but that's okay because just the way the face looks, it kind of matches that, so it's not too horrible. Really nice addition. They put some of that fake hair stuff, kind of like they did with the Henrietta figure from the Evil Dead 2 line. Also kind of like they did with Stripe from the original Gremlins line. So that looks very cool. I really like that. It feels like it might come out pretty easily, but it's in there. So it looks pretty nice. When you get it out of the package, you might have to readjust it, which isn't too hard. But a really nice thing that I will say about the packaging for these figures in this series is, excuse me, I had a sneeze coming on there. A really nice thing about the packaging for the figures in this series was that each of the figures had a plastic piece over their face in the clamshell, so that if for some reason somebody bumped the front of the clamshell, it wouldn't smear the paint. And I thought that was kind of a nice addition, just for the collectors who try not to have their figures completely fucked up when they pull them out of the packaging. But I just thought that was a nice touch for having these guys come in their packaging. So as far as accessories, like I said, comes with a little thing of acid, comes with his mask as well. And the hand, this was kind of interesting. The one thing that I really wondered about was how they were going to get this mask to be held in the hand. And I'll show you how they did that. Like, if you can see here, the mask is just this real thin. This does feel pretty fragile, like it could snap, so I'd be careful with that. But the hand is actually molded with a little, there you go, with a little rivet in there so you can hold the mask perfectly. So you can't just push it down in there. I mean, you could, but it would probably strip the paint all over. But you just kind of bend out the claws a little and slip it right in there. So you do that, and then when you let the claws back down, it holds it right in place. So it looks really, really nice, and it gives him a lot more sort of character, so that was very cool. But yeah, give you kind of a look at this guy. Really, I know I sound like a broken record, but seriously, there's some phenomenal detailing on these guys. Now, another thing that I wanted to take a second to praise NECA for with this series was that each of these figures actually features some new parts that I hadn't seen on any of the other Gremlins. Lenny, if you look at him, maybe I'm not paying attention too much, or maybe these were on some of the other figures, but his hands are more open on this one. He's also got different ears, different head design. The feet and legs and arms are pretty much all the same, except for on Lenny, he doesn't have the spikes on his shoulders. The Phantom has two completely different hands, that one, and then the new one to hold the mask. And then the brown Gremlin has kind of the exact same ones as the Flasher Gremlin. So it was nice to see that they didn't just repaint a whole bunch of Gremlins figures. I know this is one series that that definitely means a lot to both NECA and to collectors. But yeah, these are really great figures, and it's a shame to hear that NECA's thinking about possibly canceling the line. They were releasing this series, and then the Series 2 Mogwai set, which includes Combat Gizmo, or Rambo Gizmo, and Daffy and Mohawk in Mogwai form. But there was the potential, if the sales do well for these figures, to get a Greta, the female Gremlin, a chubby Mogwai, a stripe Mogwai, which would be really cool, a Generation 1 Gizmo Mogwai, and then most incredible of all was the Spider Mohawk from Gremlins 2 that was showcased, I want to say in the 2011 Comic-Con in San Diego. They showed that piece off, and it was incredible. But it's kind of disappeared because I think NECA's trying to pull in the reins a bit so people don't get excited about products that might not happen. But there is actually a group on Facebook that is trying to fight this, to try to get the word out about these Gremlins lines, to see if they can help boost the sales. It's called the Mogwai Awareness Petition. If you look it up on Facebook, it's a group, and their sole purpose is to kind of get people aware of the situation, that NECA may be canceling the line, and that if sales do well for these guys, we'll get more Gremlins. So if you guys want to see more, definitely buy these guys while they're in stores. Buy a couple, make a whole Gremlins army if you want. Whatever it takes to kind of show NECA that we really do appreciate this line. This is something that fans have wanted for years and years and years, and to finally see, both Mogwai versions and Gremlins versions alike of some of the most classic characters in these films, it's really cool. So Mogwai Awareness Petition, check it out. Also keep an eye out for the upcoming Mogwai Series 2 line that NECA is going to be releasing, and I think those are coming out at the very end of August. I want to say August 31st is when they said the release date was, but it's a general vicinity release date. It's not necessarily that exact day that you'll see them. So that about wraps it up for this review. Check out some of my other reviews if you can. I also have reviews up for the Mogwai Series 1 collection, as well as the Gremlin Series 1 collection. And I want to say I have a review up for the original Gremlin series figures. And if I don't, I will actually make a review of that, just to kind of update stuff. But yeah, as always, I appreciate you guys checking out my reviews. And once again, remember to check out the Mogwai Awareness Petition if you are a big Gremlins fan and you want to see more of these guys in your future. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching.